Happy New Year, wine lovers! It's Stephanie Miskew, certified sommelier and author of The Glamorous Gourmet, and welcome to Wines of the Week, my weekly Facebook Live show. I'm here with you every week at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time to kick off happy hour and share some wonderful wines you won't want to miss. And I have missed you. Thanks so much for tuning in today. It's great to be back. I hope everyone had a great holiday. And on this fabulous Friday, January 12th, I have a very timely show for you because today I'm going to be featuring waistline-friendly wines for the new year. I mean, let's face it, the jig is up. We all overindulged. We all went a little overboard. And you know what? That's the sad thing about January. January hits and it's like, boom. We give up and cut out every bit of enjoyment to meet those New Year's resolutions about weight loss and fitness. But you know what? That doesn't sound like a very happy New Year to me. So what if I told you you didn't have to give up that glass of wine to meet your goals? Would you be interested? I hope so. And if you are, stay tuned because today I'm going to feature some delicious wines that I know you're going to love. And I'm also going to share tips for you to find, lower calorie wines at your local wine or grocery store. So they are out there and they're not the diet wines that we see on the store shelf. So I'm going to show you some great wines today and teach you how to find them yourself. And again, thanks so much for joining me. Thrilled to be back. And if you want to go ahead and in the comment section below, tell me where you're watching from, or just throw up some emojis. That would be awesome. And while I share with you our simple format, it's the same format every Friday. Every Friday, I taste through 4 wines, and during that time, feel free to comment or ask questions, whatever you like. And that's the fun of doing this live, right? It's interactive, it's fun. And in addition to that, I like to keep it to about 30, 40 minutes. I know it's Friday. I know you've got places to go or people to see. So I want to get you excited for the weekend and excited about enjoying some great wines. And also, very importantly, if you are watching this video after the live broadcast, please go ahead and ask questions and leave comments as if you were watching it live. I promise to get back to you and I'll get back to you. I promise. So before we dive in, if you're just joining us, I'm Stephanie Miskew, and today I'm featuring waistline-friendly wines for the new year. So why don't we go ahead and dive into our tasting. And the first tip I'm going to share with you, and this is probably the most important tip to know, when you're shopping for these wines, is you want to go for low alcohol wines. Right? You want to go for low alcohol wines because alcohol is cooler and the grapes only get so ripe. And if you think about it, if the grapes only have X amount of sugar and during the fermentation process, sugar is what's converted into alcohol, you're going to get a lower alcohol by volume finally if you only have this much sugar. Whereas if you're talking about grapes grown in warmer regions where the grapes get really ripe, those grapes have a lot of sugar, so when that sugar is converted into alcohol, you have higher alcohol, which means more calories. So that's long story short. I hope it wasn't long story long. But anyway, that's an important tip when shopping for wine. So all of the wines I'm featuring today are all European wines, and none of them are even 14% alcohol. So they're all, you want to keep it under that, and you'll be good. And you can still have your daily glass of wine and not sabotage any of your New Year's resolutions. So our first wine that I'm going to share with you is a sparkler. Now, sparkling wines are the wines you want to reach for first. And let me show you why. Let's see. I don't know how to flip the screen, folks. Weird. Anyway, I'm not sure how to do that, but it's the Tesoro della Regina Prosecco from the Veneto region of Italy. It's a beautiful, beautiful bottle, and let's face it, we all have leftover bottles of sparkling wine in our fridge right now. This was left over from New Year's Eve. One of our guests was nice enough to bring it. We never got to it, so I thought, hey, this is the perfect time to drink it. So pop the cork. Sparkling wines have only 100 to 125 calories per 5-ounce glass. Plus, the bubbles in them make you savor the wine for longer than you would a still wine. So it's got kind of that double double thumbs up thing going for it. So reach for your sparkling wines first. This one is only $16 a bottle, 11% alcohol. So again, we're talking on the lower end of the alcohol. You want to also, when you're talking about sparkling wines, you want to look on the label for the words Brut or Brut Nature or Brut Zero, which will just mean that not a lot of sugar was added to the wine. It's a dry wine. So that's important when you're looking at sparklers as well. And I love this bottle. It's beautiful. Tesoro della Regina means treasure of the queen. And it is indeed absolutely delicious. And I'm going to taste through it. But Prosecco is made from the Glera grape, and it's made using the Charmat method, which is less expensive, less labor intensive than the method used to make champagne. So that's why we can afford to drink these wines. These are our everyday sparklers, right? So again, but still delicious wines, good quality wines, but just more of an everyday wine than, say, your $40 bottle of champagne. So let's go ahead and do our tasting. For those of you just joining us, I always go through the 6 S's of tasting. And the first one is C. So if we want to go ahead and look at this beautiful, beautiful wine, we can see it's a pale lemon yellow color. There's a little bit of bubbles, so there were when I poured it about 10 minutes ago, but beautiful. You should see some effervescence in there. There's nothing floating in it. There's no browning around the edges. It looks like a beautiful Prosecco should look. So next, I would usually do swirl and sniff, but with sparkling wines, I don't like to swirl because it dissipates the bubbles. So I'm just going to go ahead and take a nice big, that beautiful aromas, gosh, right off the bat, like white flowers, apples, a little bit of lychee fruit too, which is so nice. A little bit of citrus going on there as well. So now I'm going to go ahead and roll into our next S's, which are sip and swish. And I added swish onto the tasting repertoire a few months ago because you really get a sense of a wine's texture by doing that. Like automatically, the acid in this wine, which is beautiful, is just lighting up my palate. My mouth is watering, and that's just what you want when you're tasting a sparkling wine. That's their hallmark. They have beautiful acidity. And again, those beautiful notes of, again, very floral, very citrusy. All right, so if there aren't any questions at this point, I'm gonna roll on into our next wine. So sparkling wines, again, the first wine you wanna reach for, and you wanna go for those Brut or Brut Zero wines that have no sugar added. Let me take another sip. I mean, it's Friday, and actually the 6th S is usually, it's spit or savor. Professionally, I would usually spit, but I'm savoring always because it's Friday. So the next tip I'm gonna give you when you're reaching for, lower calorie wines is you want to steer clear of ports and fortified wines and dessert wines and liqueurs that have a lot of sugar. You want to just stick with dry, crisp, white or red or sparkling wines. But yeah, you definitely want to veer off. I know this time of year, it's winter. A lot of people love to curl up by the fire with a nice glass of port. I know I do, but you know what? Until you reach those goals, I'd advise on maybe, holding off on that for a little bit. So I've got 2 beautiful white wines to share with you. And the first one is this beautiful Martin Kodak's Albarino. I'm going to include the label shots the right way in the blog post. But again, just an overview of the label. For some reason, my flip screen option is not there. But again, the Martin Kodak's Albarino from the Rías Baixas region of Spain. And it's a 2016 vintage. The Rías Baixas region, Albarino is such an under-enjoyed grape. It's delicious, it's very food friendly, and in Florida, it's perfect because it pairs well with anything that comes out of the ocean, because it's in the northwestern corner of Spain, right on the ocean. And it's a beautiful white wine, very aromatic, and it has a beautiful crisp acidity as well. So let's go ahead. And again, Martin Kodak's is, they've been making, Albarino is their signature grape, and they really, pride themselves on making great examples. The wine is fermented. You want to stick with white wines. Whenever you hear stainless steel fermented, those are the wines you want to go for as well, that are going to be more waistline friendly. You want to kind of steer clear of those oaked Chardonnays, and instead go for your stainless steel, crisp, refreshing whites like Albarino. And whites have about 115 to 145 calories per 5-ounce glass. And again, this one is a beautiful choice. So let's go ahead and do our tasting. And as I'm looking at this wine, it's a beautiful, it's a lemon yellow color. I wouldn't say it's got some color to it. Like Sauvignon Blancs might be a little paler than this, but it's by no means golden like a Chardonnay. So again, it's got a beautiful color to it. There's no browning, nothing floating in it. Browning would indicate that the wine might be old or oxidized. And sometimes you might notice tartrate crystals in the wine, which don't mean anything's wrong with it. But again, that's just something you would definitely observe if you were evaluating the wine. So now I get to roll into swirl and sniff. And right away, Albarino, again, very aromatic, like jumping out of the glass. I'm getting citrus, golden apple, very much star fruit. You know those fruit when you cut, they're like the shape of a star? Total star. I feel like I just smelled one of those. Very star fruit. A little nice like saline kind of aspect to it, and it's grown so close to the ocean. I don't know, but I'm definitely getting that as well. But just beautiful aromatics. They definitely want to make me roll into sip and swish. Yes, and again, Albarino has a beautiful acidity, and on the palate, I'm pretty much getting exactly what I got on the nose. Beautiful, that citrus, the golden apple, and really that star fruit is kind of, I would say, its dominant flavor. But just, gosh, what a delicious wine. And these wines pair very well with healthy foods too. So if you like fish or shellfish, again, break out the Albarino. It's a wonderful choice. And again, this wine is $14. Awesome price, and 12.5% alcohol. So again, we're still in our range. We want to kind of stay under 14 if possible for those lower calorie wines. And I also get asked a lot about, the skinny wines and all these other wines and whether it's worth kind of, buying those wines, whether the calorie difference is worth it. And I'm here to tell you, no. The calorie difference is minimal. It might be a bigger difference when you're talking about margarita mix or something like that. But where wine is concerned, stick with the real deal, folks. And then you get to appreciate different wine regions and real wines that aren't kind of stripped or manipulated in a lab somewhere, and how fun to learn about, especially European wine regions. I know they can be very intimidating because the wines are generally named according to their place rather than their grape variety, but use this opportunity to set some wine related New Year's resolutions. Like, I'm going to try a wine every week in January. I'm going to try a wine from a different wine, from a European wine region. Why not, right? Hey, I'm here to help. So, any questions about our beautiful Albarino before we move on? And hey, Monica, I see Monica's poked in to say hello. Good to see you, my friend. Oops. Alrighty. So our next wine, and I'm featuring two whites just because I love white wines. And again, white wines should be your go-to this month. I have a red because I know there are those of you who have to have your reds, but white wine could be a good friend to you in your resolutions this month. So our third wine and our second white wine of the tasting is the Barons de Rothschild Lafite Bordeaux Blanc. It's a really pretty label, actually. It's their Selection Prestige. It's a 2016 vintage, $16 a bottle. All the wines today are under $20. We did all of our fancy, expensive wines over the holidays. So, I'm going with everyday wines today. So again, very budget friendly as well. So you can't use that as an excuse not to drink your daily glass of wine either. But again, so this is probably one of the most underappreciated categories of white wine, white Bordeaux. If you are a Sauvignon Blanc fan, you should be drinking these wines. And all you need to do is go into your local wine store and say, show me the white Bordeaux. And pick one. I love this one. It's beautiful, of course, from the famed, related to the Chateau Lafite Rothschild family. But again, they're more everyday wines, obviously. But again, and white Bordeaux is usually a blend of primarily Sauvignon Blanc with a little bit of Semillon added in. But it makes for just a beautiful, crisp, refreshing wine that I think if you're a fan of Sauvignon Blanc, you gotta try this. I guarantee you're gonna like it. And again, as you know, if you've tried Sauvignon Blanc from California or New Zealand, it's different anywhere everywhere it grows. It has a different terroir no matter where it's from. So have some fun exploring. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll look at this wine. Actually, this wine is a little lighter in color. I don't know if you can tell on the video here, but it's definitely a little lighter in color than our Albarino. But it's still a very, very pale, citrusy color, but clear, translucent, no browning, no crystals, no anything we wouldn't want. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll into swirl and sniff. Yeah, and I have to say these two white wines are so incredibly different. This one, the Albarino, was kind of jumping out of the glass at me, the aromas. This one is a little shyer. It's a little more delicate on the nose, but beautiful aromas of still that beautiful citrus, but mostly it leads with like minerality, like a limestone or chalk to it. But beautiful, and a lot of pear. I'm getting a lot of pear on that nose as well. Beautiful. So very different wines, but both delicious. So on that note, let me go ahead and sip and swish. I love Fridays. Have I said that? So yeah, on the palate, definitely more delicate than our Albarino, but beautiful notes. Gosh, I'm getting that beautiful minerality. Definitely leads with pear. That beautiful, like a poached pear flavor, and a little bit of citrus. Beautiful acidity. That's again lighting up my palate, that I love about white wines. And whenever you taste that in a wine, like your tongue lights up, all of a sudden your saliva is going. That means that basically a wine is very food friendly. So again, I'm wanting like oysters or something to that effect. Shellfish with this wine, or a salad with goat cheese or something like that would be beautiful with this wine. So again, I said $16 a bottle, and the alcohol is 12%. 12%. So another very waistline-friendly option. So any questions about... Oh, Roland says, ready to enjoy the recommended wines. Cheers. Any questions about this wine or anything I've talked about or any of our other wines? As I enjoy another sip. Let me see. All right. Man, it is a rainy, if you hear anything in the background, it is a rainy day here in South Florida. Storming, and this is the worst of it right now. So if there's any connection issues, it's probably weather related, because the Wi-Fi is working fine as far as I know. All right, so anyway, if you're just joining us, we have tried 3 of our waistline-friendly wines today. I've done a beautiful Tesoro della Regina Prosecco from the Veneto region of Italy. And I've done another beautiful Martin Kodak's Albarino white wine from the Rías Baixas region of Spain. And I'm just finishing the Barons de Rothschild Selection Prestige White Bordeaux, that any of you Sauvignon Blanc fans should jump on this, because they're great prices, and again, they're just delicious wines. So why not, right? All right. Roland says it's raining in Ocala as well. Wow. Yeah, it is. It's cats and dogs for sure. Well, stay dry, Roland, and stay in and enjoy some delicious wine. All right, so now you red wine lovers are getting what you came for here. So, as I said before, I know no matter how much I say stick with your sparklers or white wines this month, there's those of you who just have to have your red wine, and I totally get it. So, I have a fabulous one to share with you today. And it might take you a little out of your comfort zone, but you have to try an example of this wine this month. That is a goal. That is a resolution you are setting right now, because I have the beautiful Michele Chiarlo Barbera di Asti Le Orme. And this is just, talk about a great wine find. The wine, $16 a bottle, 13.5% alcohol. Now, red wines, I've given the calories for each of our previous wines. Red wines clock in at about 120 to 150 calories per 5-ounce glass. So they do have the most calories of any wine class, dry wine class. So again, you want to be careful and stick to the 5-ounce pour, so you don't want to sabotage any of those weight loss goals. So, but again, this wine is just a favorite. And again, this is an example where don't let the names scare you. Barbera here is the grape, and you walk in your wine store and you want to say, I'm looking for a Barbera d'Asti, please. And they will guide you towards the Italy section. And this beautiful wine is from the Piedmont region of Italy, which is just exceptional. And Michele Chiarlo is one of my favorite producers here, because even though they make, this is the wine region that's known for producing your collectible, very expensive Barolos and Barbarescos, but this little gem is produced right alongside them. And Chiarlo is one that specializes in producing Barbera. That's part of their history. It's the wine they're very proud of, and it's what I had lunch with Alberto Chiarlo, and he said, our first goal is to make Barbera. And this, I can smell it already. It's just fabulous. It's aged partly in stainless steel, but partly in large oak casks, as is the Italian tradition. And it's just it's incredibly delicious on its own, or you could pair this with so many different foods as well. It's so incredibly food friendly. I can't think of anything that you might throw at this that it wouldn't pair nicely with. Let's dive into our tasting, because I want to get to, I want to introduce you to this wine. I'm very excited about it. Can you tell? It is a beautiful ruby purple color, as we're examining it visually. Beautiful ruby purple. I wish you could see. It's translucent. You can definitely see through this wine for the most part, indicating thinner skinned grape. It's not like a Cab or a Syrah. Definitely lighter bodied, but medium bodied. But again, translucent. It looks just like I would expect this wine to look. So I'm going to move forward with swirl and sniff. And I'm telling you, if you get this wine, you're just going to be like, oh, the nose on this wine is, if you like a red wine with dark fruit, you've got black cherry, blueberry, blackberry, cassis, and even violet going on. And it's just the nose alone. Like, I want to dab it behind my ears before I drink it. It smells that good. And the wonderful thing is, I can tell you right now, is it tastes just like it smells. So let me go ahead and prove that once again. And yep, on the palate, all that beautiful black fruit, black cherry, blackberry, definitely that blueberry going on there too, which is so nice. Violet and cassis, if you're a cassis fan, you're gonna love this wine. And mild tannins, there's nothing stripping the moisture out of your mouth. It's beautiful, easy drinking. You could drink it on its own or paired with just about anything. I mean, we had it, I'm trying to remember what we had it with, but I think a pasta, bucatini alla matriciana, and just some other appetizer things, and it went with everything brilliantly. So definitely one to watch for sure. $16 a bottle, and I think I said, yeah, 13.5% alcohol. But just for a red that's low calorie, and all of these wines are lower calorie, but they deliver so much personality. And that's what I don't want you to have to sacrifice with some of the diet wines that have been, stripped or manipulated. These wines, you won't even notice that they are quote unquote lower calorie, lower alcohol wines, because they just have so much personality, so much terroir. They reflect where they're from. And yeah, I stand behind each and every one of them. They're absolutely delicious. So that's my monologue for the evening. But are there any questions about any of the wines or waistline friendly wines in general? Feel free to, ask your comments in the comment section. I'm happy to get back to you now. Jim says a little dab will do ya. Yep, it sure will. Or a couple little dabs. But anyway. But yeah, so again, you don't need to give up your daily glass of wine to reach those fitness and weight loss goals. And I think you'll find, if you stick with these wines, I think you'll find that not only are you losing weight, you're also in a much better mood, right? Because you're not on the dry January bandwagon. So why not? Life's about enjoyment, right? All things in moderation is my motto. And I hope that these wines kind of help you to still enjoy wine while also getting healthy and, and reaching all those goals that you want to reach. So, are there any questions about anything we've tried so far today? I will have a blog post up within the hour with all of the labels and prices and all that jazz and anything else I've mentioned here in the show, although I can't think right now. But anyway, if I mention anything that I promised you a link to, it will be in there. And, oh, and Deb. Hey, Deb, how are you, lady? Deb says, good evening. I am drinking a white Puy-Puissé. Cheers to you, lady. That's a wonderful, wonderful choice. And I can't tell you, thank you all enough for joining me for my first show back in 2018. And I hope you can join me next week. Well, actually, next week I will be traveling, but I will be back with you on Friday, January 26th. And on that show, we're going to be focusing on, I'm going to be giving you a wine workout. We're going to pump up your palate. I'm going to teach you how to identify, how to taste wine, how to identify tannin, oak, acid, all those things. So if you have any resolutions focused around becoming a better wine taster, you won't want to miss that show. It's going to be great. Lots of great info. And a favorite topic as well. So again, if you have any wine-loving friends who you think might be interested in this episode or future ones, feel free to tag them in the comment section or just recommend they tune in next time. And I think that brings us to the close of our Waistline-friendly Wine show, first one of 2018. And thanks again. Oh yeah, sorry, no worries, Jim. Happy New Year to you too, and Happy New Year to all of you. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you again on the 26th. So have a wonderful weekend, and I look forward to tasting with you soon. Cheers.